You're listening to the Pants Off Podcast with Clark Bartram and Jeremy Jackson.
CBTs, performance apparel, where fashion meets performance. Upload your custom design or grab the CBTs Deal of the Week at clarkstees.com. The podcast with CB and JJ is sponsored by Providence Video Productions in Escondido, California, providers of full creative video and audio production services. Utilizing state-of-the-art professional equipment for all your broadcast needs. Webpage, embedded or live streaming videos and podcasts. Aerial drone videography. Music videos, 3D animation, studio and field production. Contact us at providencevid.com.
What is going on, everyone? We are live here at the Pants Off Podcast, and I have a very special co-host again today who has brought in a very special guest. My co-host is none other than my son, Mitch Bartram. Mitch, welcome back to the Pants Off Podcast.
Thank you.
So you asked me before we started going live here, do you feel like you've been kind of pushed yourself into a corner with this whole pants off thing? And I said, absolutely not. And I am keeping my pants on until JJ comes back. That is my stance. JJ, if you're listening right now, brother, pants are staying on till you come back. And then the minute you walk in the door, all pants are dropping. I don't care who's in here, but everyone's pants are going down.
All right.
You know?
Yeah.
I got to, you have to stick up for the people in your life that are there for you.
What's he been doing?
JJ's been sidelined a little bit with life, with struggles, with victories, with injuries, with all sorts of different things. And I think he's on his comeback trail, man. Jeremy's one of the most resilient people I've ever met in my entire life. And I just want to give a big shout out to JJ because I love you, my brother.
We love you,
I miss you
Jeremy.
very much. Jim, can we find some kind of applause or something on there for Jeremy on our little fake applause machine? Nothing lame either. There you go. That's for you, JJ. Just like when you were a teen idol. All right, Mitch. So you brought in a special guest today. You want to give an introduction to who you brought in, or should I, or how do you want to do this?
I'll give it, I guess.
I'm scared
right.
for
And
either
then
one.
If you want to, we could have like
Let's do a dual one.
a dual intro.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
God.
All
I
right.
started off by saying that we all have special people in our lives, right? Regardless of the title you give them, or, I think that's too often in life we feel the need and the necessity to put a title on people in our relationship. Like, you're my son. You're another human on this planet who is enriching my life in multiple ways. And I think that's my best way of describing your guest. And I'll leave you to say the name of this guest, because that is what I'm witnessing in this relationship that you have with this other person.
Yeah.
So,
Well, with that being said, I guess the only label that I can put on it right now is my best friend. So this is my best friend of about how long? 3.5 years.
Like 3.5 years, yeah.
Yeah. We've done a lot of cool stuff together, and she recently came down to visit from Santa Cruz, where she lives now, and we just been kicking it for a little bit while she's here.
what's her name?
This is Miss Annabelle, AnnaBfromtheTree.
AnnaBfromtheTree. Jim, give it up for Anna B from the Tree. Yeah, come on. Jim's a little late on the applause sometimes. But you know what? Jim is another one of those guys that I love. Thanks, Jim, for that applause and for everything that you do.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Anna B from the Tree, welcome to the Pants Off Podcast.
Thank you.
It's great
Honored
to have
be
you here. And we brought Annabelle on today because she is absolutely a person who is influencing a lot of people in this world through this, I don't want to call it a character, but this maybe alternate persona, or, we all
alter
play a
ego.
character in life, right? An alter ego. Is Anna B from the Tree an alter ego, and where did she come from? How is Anna B from the Tree?
Well, what is AnnaBfromtheTree?
Yeah.
Like, we don't need to put any.
Okay.
Like, it's.
What is Anna B from the Tree? What an intense question. I think everybody has a lot of, maybe not everybody puts names on them, but I feel like everybody has, sorry, get closer to that. I feel like everybody has different pieces of themselves. And Anna B from the Tree came because my neighbor used to always see me hanging in a hammock in my tree. in my side yard. So he would call me that.
That's
but,
more practical than I thought it would be. I
Yeah.
thought maybe you had some kind of, experience in life.
so normal, but I don't know. I feel like the name like built itself up a little bit because I just started writing a lot and sharing my experiences in my life. I started traveling when I was younger, and I started writing about that and all the things that I was learning about myself, because I went to Asia for 2 months all by myself when I was 20.
That's intense right there.
And
that's a whole podcast by itself.
Yeah, I could get into that forever, but that was kind of like the start of me finding pieces of myself that I felt like were truly me, and I began to express myself from that place. And I don't know, I feel like that AnnaBfromtheTree, it's weird to say that you have an alter ego. I feel like I have many, many different pieces of myself, but that's one piece of me that I get to express myself through.
I love that.
You got other ones too?
Yeah, I think I do, for sure.
I think Mitch is digging.
He is. Mitch wants to embarrass me right now. What's up? What do you...
Gabe the guy.
Yeah, I think I also... Yeah, I have multiple alter egos, I feel like.
She's also...
Everyone does, but like you said, we don't all name them.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
name them.
Yeah.
Because I want to learn about them.
Right.
I feel like all those different pieces of me collectively like are me as a whole, but
Absolutely.
all the different pieces of me have different stories to tell and different things. I don't know. I make so much art. All I want to do is create all the time. So I feel like I can create different mediums of art through these different parts of myself. And the more I get to know them, the more I get to know myself as a whole. Yeah.
We'll talk about your art later because it is some beautiful stuff. Anita's on here right now, and she says, "Yay, Annabelle," with some hearts.
Aw.
Rich
Love
King
you.
is listening from Canton, Ohio.
Mark.
What's up, Rich King? Mark Armentano, my man.
Hey, guy.
If you need anything designed, you got to see Mark. But Mitch, I know you have some things that you probably want to ask right now as far as...
I just wanted to bring up one of your other pieces of yourself that you've named and that you're sharing different art content with, and that's Gabe the Tomboy, or Gabriel the Tomboy. I don't know. What exactly do you call it?
Yeah, Gabriel the Tomboy. Yeah, I don't play any instruments. I'd like to learn an instrument, but I write and I make songs. I sing and I rap. And Gabriel the Tomboy, growing up, I was always one of the boys. I felt like part of that was that I felt like it was weak to be girly, so I wanted to be like tough. But part of it was that I was actually interested in, I wanted to play sports and I wanted to do all the stuff that boys were doing. So
Girls play sports.
yeah, I know, but I felt like I would dress like a boy, like I would wear,
Okay.
like want to go to the store and buy boy clothes. Not because I felt like a boy, but I just like,
You embrace there's, male and female aspects to all of us,
Yeah.
feminine and masculine, that we, I think, ebb and flow throughout our life.
yeah.
So at this part of your life, do you feel, where are you flowing more in the masculine or feminine? Are you pretty in between?
I feel like it's
right?
in between. I feel like it switches often. Like, I feel like some weeks I feel very much, you can see it in me too. Like, I feel like Mitch notices, he'll see and be like, oh, you look like Gabriel today. Like the way that
way
I
you
dress,
dress.
like the way that I express myself. And I feel like
You look very feminine today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It changes every day. It depends on how I feel when I wake up. And sometimes, which I'm trying to work on, but sometimes I feel like I'll think about, where am I going? How am I going to be more accepted in this situation? How should I represent myself so that I'm more respected or more...
So if you're going to an art show, you feel like you need to kind of play the part of the art person?
Kind of, yeah.
Does that get in the way sometimes?
Not really, because I feel like then that's another way for me to express myself and like be creative in the way that I present myself.
I guess the real question is it authentic? If it's not authentic, then, you know what I mean?
feel that it is, because I feel like it doesn't matter. Regardless of all of that, I'm still me inside. And I can look a certain way, or like, I feel like that, like Mitch will always ask me, like, do you feel like you're playing a role? Like when you run into people who know you because of your art, because of
Right.
what they read, do you feel like you have to play a role? And I feel like everything that I express, when I'm expressing, when I'm writing, when I'm making music, anything comes from a very authentic, genuine place inside of me. And so I never feel like I have to play a role. I just get to be.
What's shifting into that energy?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, you said there are multiple, egos or alter
yeah.
egos within you, and based upon the situation, it's not changing or playing a character. I think it's shifting into that energy
Yeah.
that is necessary for that audience. Because I do the same thing. I mean, Mitch has watched me my whole life.
Yeah.
And when I go and speak in front of a group of people, I have to shift. I got to shift to that guy, when really deep down inside of who Clark Bartram is, I'm not that guy really, but I can easily become that person because I've trained myself to be, because I want to be on some level. And I think we all do that. I'm looking at my best friend here. He's online, and he's a corporate, guy. I mean, he's been in the corporate world forever, and he has to shift into that character as well, going into that, because I know him in both capacities. Mitch does it.
Yeah.
I see Mitch when he goes to his art shows and he's sharing higher realm, he shifts a bit into a character as well. So I think the overall theme that we're talking about here is we all have multiple personalities. And that is something that has been, like taboo, right? Oh, he's got multiple. Oh, that person's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is totally taboo. Like, he's said to me before, like, I swear, like, you have multiple personality disorder. And I'm just like,
I did not say disorder.
Okay.
I said you have multiple personalities.
Okay.
Chill out. Come on.
Don't you love how people add words and things? Like, you guys were...
I swear you said that.
Well, that's how you perceived it, though.
Yeah,
like
that's true. That is how... Not like you were dissing me, but I was just like, damn, I'm crazy, man. I must be crazy. But I do think that it is, like, a super taboo thing. And people, like, you've asked me that so many times. And I always think, like, we all do that. So you might as well just accept it and then learn about that inside yourself.
You should. And because of society, people tend to push it away and go, oh, no, I'm this guy. I'm the corporate guy, or I'm the priest, or I say priest because Rob Roy's watching right now, and he was wearing a shirt today, had a little white thing on it, and it was a black shirt. He looked like a priest. So that's the only reason I brought that up, Rob Roy. But do any of these energies that reside within your physical body scare you when you kind of come in contact with them?
Yeah, definitely. I think sometimes I shift into a place inside myself that is so dark, and just like I feel like I'm like drowning in it. And that part of me actually feels like the more feminine part of me, that I'm like very receptive and open to not only what I'm feeling, but everyone else's feelings. And I feel like I consistently am sucking in everyone else's experience. And then if I don't have an outlet for it, which luckily I found art to be a good outlet, I feel like I just get sucked in and I'm like drowning in that part of myself. And
it can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
I mean, when people look at you, because you have, like I said at the beginning in my intro to you, become an influencer in today's words that people use, right? You're an influencer online. People are influenced by AnnaBfromtheTree, that energy that is in you that comes out and shares the art, at least the form that I've seen with the jewelry, which is all beautiful. Nita loves it.
Thank you.
And with that, there's in the comic books, it says, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
That's sobering to think about that, and there's a scripture in the Bible, to whom much is given, much is required. It's the same thing. That's where the comics got that from. So when people start looking at you, then you feel this obligation to be that person, even when you don't want to be, or when it's the hardest to be. I deal with that all the time. I got to shoot a video today. Mitch was dealing with it the other day. Hey, go you're the positive guy under the orange tree. Well, he wasn't feeling like the super positive guy under the orange tree. Yeah. Not just positive, but super positive. And to have to be that person all times is freaking hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've found like some comfortability, and I feel like I can be that. Like, I can express. A lot of times I'm afraid to be vulnerable to the people that I love, but when I'm writing, like, I don't feel afraid to share, like, yo, today I sat in my bed and ate a whole bag of potato chips and felt like shit all day, and I'm not going to write something positive or tell you to, like, get out there and get your shit done, because that's not how I feel. And I feel like in sharing that, other people realize, like, because everybody feels like that sometimes.
That's more positive than anything, being transparent and real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like Jeremy the other day when he got online. He said, "Listen, yo, I've been gone, but I've been dealing with crap in life." People love that more, and I did a video about it today. Because you look at people and we compare ourselves and we put these expectations based upon some bullshit. Check the box. Yeah. That other people are portraying that we know, based upon our struggles, are not real. And it's best when people don't believe all the hype that they see is being put out by, a character or an energy or all that sort of thing. Mitch, I feel like I'm, controlling this whole thing. Say something, brother.
No, I'm just listening to you guys.
Well, so what do you feel like? I feel like you have multiple parts of yourself as well, because I see one side of you. I mean, I see all sides of you, but I know that some people strictly see the side of you that's sitting underneath an orange tree with your shirt off, talking about how connected to God you feel and how you've been fasting for 30 days straight on raw fruit and all of this. And then maybe you run into those same people later and you're eating a sandwich or something. Like, do you feel like you have to stay in a certain role?
Yeah, to a degree. So that's the thing with me. I feel not always necessarily like I have to turn into a certain person when I'm in front of certain people. It's that I feel like I'm not allowed to be certain things. It's not that I have to turn something on, it's that I have to turn some things off. Like, I don't know, in front of you, I feel like I can be a lot more vulnerable than I can be in front of my parents for some reason. So in front of my parents, in front of my family, I am a lot more reserved than I am in front of you, and I may be more reserved in front of you than I am in front of somebody that I barely know, that we're just sitting on the sidewalk that I met, and like they opened up and we realized we're both in a place to like talk about some things. You know how you'll meet someone who's just down to open up and just talk about whatever, and there's not like any area that's off limits to talk about, and you realize that and you both can talk about it with those people. When you have like no familiarity with each other is when it's most easy for me, because then at that point you don't have to be anything that no one's expecting you to be anything that you were yesterday if they don't know you, you know what I mean? So I think sometimes I feel restricted by how I've like portrayed myself, or how I've acted, or how someone knows me from the past. I feel like I have to almost continue to be the person that they knew, and it kind of keeps me in that place, or like in a shell, or feeling boxed in when I really just want to be something else, you know? I think that's why maybe sometimes I don't act more open with you guys at home, because for the past years I've been acting a certain way, and it's like, well, why today am I going to start acting different? Isn't that weird? Like, I know you guys would appreciate that probably, but there's like some awkwardness to it that I feel like it has to be broken through, that is uncomfortable.
So was it awkward last night?
No, that was cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. So, and that's what I appreciate about your guys' relationship, because I know that either directly or indirectly, Annabelle helped facilitate that. And what we're talking about is, just out of the blue, I was sitting there watching TV, and Mitch wasn't even within eyesight, and he screamed, "Hey, I love you." And I'm like, "You talking to me?" And it's not that he never says that, but it's not all, outside of the normal pattern that we have in our life. And I said, "Oh, thanks. I appreciate that." And he said, "I just want to let you know that I appreciate you encouraging me and lifting me up when I can't lift myself up." And I'm like, "That's super awesome. I really appreciate that." And then that trickled down even deeper to your relationship. So that's what's cool about human relationships, is regardless of how hard they can be at times, there are things that certain people bring out of us that nobody else could. And we have the other sides of those relationships as well that are as equally as frustrating as they are liberating and, enjoyable. And I don't think anyone is outside of that. And it's just really how we manage that in our life,
Yeah.
The person that can be the best for you can be the person that's the absolute worst for you, but they're the absolute worst for you to bring out the best in you, because they're requiring more of you to look at yourself. Like, how can I not react that way anymore? How can I not respond or do the things that I do consistently if I really want to grow and change?
That's kind of how me and Annabelle have felt in our span of our relationship. Like, we pull shit out of each other that we don't want to look at, like pretty uncomfortable, quote unquote dark stuff, that is really, really hard to look at and hard to accept that's even a part of you. And we used to have that. I mean, we were somewhat conscious of it and tried to do our best, but like at the place that we were at, in the past handful of years, we didn't necessarily do our best to use those opportunities as tools to like, and like be grateful that the darkness was getting pulled up, because when that darkness is pulled up, that's an opportunity to transcend it, and to use it. That's shadow work, you know what I mean? And
unless it's getting pulled up, you ain't ever working
exactly.
on it. And
so
when
we
it
were
gets
doing
pulled
that.
up,
So we were doing that for each other, but like we weren't using it as an opportunity. We weren't like grateful for it. We were just like, fuck, this feels like shit. You know, like why? But
Well, I
now,
don't think you're ever going to be grateful for it initially. Because
Yeah.
it feels like shit.
but sometimes I've been grateful for it sometimes in the moment. Like
That's cool.
I was just saying this yesterday. Like I haven't always, but for a while now, I've had this motto that I try to live by, that the source of growth is discomfort. And then I would look for discomfort in my life. Like if someone pulls something out of me where I'm going to react instead of make a conscious decision, I look for that discomfort or that feeling in my body that feels like something just got triggered in me. I would use that feeling as an indicator of this is where growth needs to happen. So take this as the opportunity to react differently, choose to act differently in this moment. And I felt like I was doing that for a while. And in that awareness, I was like, I would feel that discomfort. And then I would be like, yes, thank you. Like stoked for the opportunity to work on it. And then it would just flip the whole script and change the situation to where I could. But recently I just feel like I kind of have like fallen off my practice a little bit and just kind of been like floating in the ocean, just letting the waves just toss me around. And
Why? Why do you think that is?
Sometimes, I don't know. Well, this is the initial thing. Maybe this is not it, but this is the first thing that comes to my head. Sometimes it feels like really staying on a strict practice and like doing my best every single day gets really exhausting. And like sometimes and it seems like every micro thing, like every small thing is a part of the macro, you know, obviously. So it's like, I have to make my bed today to have a good day of growth and practice and this and that. And I have to keep my room clean. I have to not react when someone says this thing. And so if I mess one of those things up, it feels like I messed the whole day up. I feel like I'm super hard on myself with it. So with that being said, it's fucking really tough to try to be that perfect every day. And I feel like I hold myself to this standard to where like sometimes I just can't reach it, and then I just like give up.
Did you hear the video I shot today?
No.
It was about that exactly. and I was speaking to people in the fitness world because that's what everyone does in fitness, right? The minute they eat something that's not within this 12-week program that they bought and they swore they were going to do perfectly because this is the time, you know, that can be translated into any aspect of our life, personal growth, relationships, all of that. And then the minute we mess up, we forget we're human and we start blaming ourselves for messing up. And then that conversation happens again. And then we spin out of control and get lost in this sea and you start floating around. And what I was telling people today was, listen, be human. Enjoy that part of the experience.
Yeah.
You know what? One day of not making your bed or one day of not eating perfectly.
But then that one day turns into way longer.
If you let it, though.
Well, I've been doing a better job at it now. Like I'm staying conscious of the fact that I'm like off the track. You know what I mean? Like it's not like I'm off the track and just like have no idea.
Right.
And I'm just lost. Because I feel like that's how it's been in the past. Like, how did I get here? What am I gonna do to like get out? But now it's like, okay, I know how to get out and I can do it and I have the tools, but like I'm still letting myself be in it. But I feel like I've been like slowly pulling myself out a little bit with the help of both you guys, because sometimes like it takes making moves, you know, like momentum moves. And that's what we've been talking about. Like, how are you going to get the momentum rolling in the right direction again? Okay, my Jeep's been broken for 4 months now, and it's been sitting in the garage or on the driveway. What is a step to getting the momentum going on that? Calling a shop, taking it into the shop. Okay, just, you know, different, anything that I feel stagnant in, there's something to get the momentum moving on it. So I feel like that's kind of some steps that I've been taking to like slowly start getting momentum going, and I feel like I'm taking my time, you know.
Well, that Jeep is a perfect example because
Yeah.
when you asked me to push it the other day, it was on a slight incline, and for me to push that myself was hard as hell. But you jumped out and helped me push it. We got it moving, and then it got on flat surface and it rolled exactly where we needed it to go.
Damn.
So if you look at that in your life, right, you can't do it on your own sometimes. Therefore,
And you can't ask the
Annabelle
other
comes
person to
in.
do it them either.
But
Yeah,
then you
you're
do
a
it
part of
together. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you get it because the longer you let it sit, you know, the harder that incline becomes to push it up. But when you do, it's like, oh shit, this was a lot easier than I made it out to be in my mind.
And that's kind of how our relationship has been too. I feel like at a lot of times, I know I've been guilty of this, and I'm sure you have as well, but wanting the other person to do all the pushing because I feel like I can't hop out the Jeep and run back there and push it myself too, you know, and wanting that person to push it up the driveway themselves, you know, and just expect them to do it. And then that person is exhausted, maybe defeated, and resentful of you for making them do that. And then it just breaks the relationship down. So I feel like that was something that happened to us as well.
But when you put that on someone else, so imagine you're driving down the street. Have you ever gotten out of your car and helped a random person on the street push their car, you know, 20 feet to the side of the road?
Maybe not pushing, but...
Well, whatever. Yeah. You know, I've done that and then I jump back in my car and I'm like, God, that felt good. That felt so good to help this random stranded person on the side of the road. However you did it, you know, we're using pushing car.
The other day I picked someone up walking on the street and drove him to his house he would have been walking for hours. And it was like the first time I felt like joy spread through. I was like smiling as I left the house.
And that is some random person on this planet, yet the person that we love, we say we love the most and we're the closest to, we have such a hard freaking time of getting out the car, opening the door for them and saying, hop in, I'll take you the rest of the way.
What's the weird thing with familiarity?
It breeds contempt.
I know the scripture, but like, why?
Well, and I think part of it is like, you know that no matter the way that you act or react or anything, like my love is so unconditional, it's not going to go away. Even if I'm upset, it's not going to go away. So it's like that creates this comfortability to like not treat somebody fully the way that they should be treated, because you know that like I don't always necessarily hold you to the standard that I think like I need you to be here 24/7. Also because I have compassion, like we're all humans and we're all shitty sometimes. And we need to have people that are still going to love us regardless of those parts of ourselves.
We need that toilet paper person in our life because we all get shitty. We need someone to clean us up.
Yeah, we need someone to wipe
feels
our
good
ass.
when you can be accepted for being a shitty person. Like, because it's better than, you know, being shamed for it, because that doesn't really help anything. And everybody's going to have those moments where they are shitty and we've
talked about that a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of times people react to things or act on things out of like their trauma, out of things that they feel bad about in themselves that they don't even necessarily recognize are there. And then we hurt other people by doing that. But then the people that we hurt see that that's coming out of a place of trauma, out of a place of like inside of you that's not healthy. But then they shame you for it, make you feel bad for it. And I feel like we've talked a lot about that, how we can't do that if we see that each other is acting out of a place. Like
I do that a lot.
Well, like sometimes he'll do things that I'm like, whoa, like you got hurt as a little kid and now you have this wall up. So now you're acting out of that place. And instead of me getting upset and like judging him for that and shaming him for that, I have to take a breath and step back and be like, he's acting out of a place of hurt. So me being mean to him isn't going to fix anything. I have to love
And that's
him.
Where familiarity helps.
Yeah.
It doesn't always breed contempt because you were able to recognize that.
Yeah.
And by recognizing that and stepping out of your way and reacting out of this anger that might instantly come up, you know, that's where a deep breath, and we do this here on the Pants Off podcast, we take our breaths. So let's go ahead and take a breathing moment. Everyone that's listening right now, all 5 of you, please take a deep breath. So with that, we're going to take 5 deep cleansing breaths right now. AnnaBfromtheTree, lead us right now, please.
All right. We're going to do our inhales shorter than our exhales, so our exhales longer than the inhales.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
Jeremy would appreciate that.
Jeremy, that was for you.
That was for you, Jeremy.
That was for everybody out there. It is absolutely amazing to me what that does. I honestly feel better right now.
Same.
I feel like I smoked some CBD or something and I just have this body high. You know?
You smoke?
You smoke?
Yeah.
Come on, guy.
Come on,
Yeah.
let's go.
Wow.
Let's keep it real here on the Pants Off podcast.
It's counterculture.
It's counterculture.
You're a deviant. You're a social deviant.
I am, and I embrace it. I don't care. This is making me cry, says Anita Alvarado Bartram. Aww. We didn't know this was going to turn into a counseling session for all of us here in the studio, and for those of you listening and who will be listening on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube. Be sure you subscribe to the Pants Off podcast, please.
Yeah.
Support this because, you know, we're here to inspire, encourage, uplift, entertain, and do whatever we can to bring a little levity to the lives of the people, and that includes that breathing, which I love that. So thank you for leading us in that little interstitial between, you know, you like that word?
Yeah, that was
that's pretty dope. So what else we got going on today? What are your future plans, Anna B. from the Tree? What do you got coming up? You're a world traveler. She's been, like, at 20, she took off on her own, which is badass. That is straight.
Right.
That is really that is. What made you do that, man? I mean, what got inside of you and said, "I'm buying a ticket and going"?
Well, I was going to school. I graduated high school when I was 17. I did an independent study program. I didn't like school ever. I never liked being trapped inside of a four-walled box, and I didn't really feel like I had anything that I was passionate about. But my parents were like encouraging me, you should just go to school, maybe you'll find something that you like, or at least maybe something will spark your interest. So I was going to a community college for 3 semesters.
Which one?
Miracosta in Oceanside. And I hated it. I didn't like being there. I wasn't devoted to it. There was some things that were interesting, but I was so young and so unaware of what I wanted to be doing that I would go there and just feel like self-conscious and feel like I just like was like there. Like I wasn't doing anything. I was just there. And I remember my 3rd semester, I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? I hate this, it's making me miserable. And so it was actually the day I had finals, and I was like, got there, I was driving around in the parking lot and I couldn't find a parking spot. And I was like, fuck it.
I'm done.
I just didn't even go to my finals. I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm out. And
that's gangster right there.
Yeah, that's right. Stay in school, I guess, guys. But
or leave.
Yeah. Honestly, do your thing. So
say leave.
Yeah, so I left, and then I actually never told now I've told my parents that I did that, but they didn't know. I told them I took my finals that semester. I lied. And they were like, so what are you going to do? Like, we don't care if you're in school, but you need to figure out what you want to do. And my whole life I always wanted to travel. I felt like I didn't want to learn about things through a book. I wanted to learn about things by going somewhere and being in the culture, eating the food, smelling the smells, talking to people. And I had actually, I took a few trips before I went solo by myself to Asia. I had been to Europe for a month when I graduated high school with a couple of friends, and then I went by myself to Asia, Australia, and New Zealand, but I stayed with people that I knew. So that like kind of opened me up. And then when I was 20, had been working full time. I was working like 3 jobs and living with some of my friends, and I was happy, but I was unfulfilled. I felt like there was more that I needed to learn and experience. So I just bought a ticket and went there.
What's the biggest thing you've learned from traveling? If you had to summarize it for someone who is in that same place, who's looking for real world experience, what would you say to them?
The biggest thing I learned, honestly, through traveling.
Don't be late for your flight.
Yeah, don't be late for your flight.
Don't buy 4 tickets accidentally.
Yeah, don't accidentally buy 4 tickets. Yeah. I think the biggest thing that I've learned is that you can really do anything that you want. Like, you really can do anything you want, and there's so many different ways to live your life. Like, we grow up here, especially in Southern California, we're put on a track, like, from the day that we're born, of how you're supposed to live and exist. And it's like your track to success is you should go to school, go to college, get a degree, get a job, meet somebody, have a family, have kids, get a house. Like, it's very structured. And I think a lot of people don't fit inside that structure, but then you feel very out of place, like you're supposed to be in that structure. And if you're not, then you're bad, or you're not going to be successful. And I think when I traveled and saw there's so many different ways that people live their lives, especially in Asia, it's super, super poor country. And there's people who don't have homes, don't have anything, and they're living on the streets, and you can see that they're happy inside, they're happy. And I don't know, seeing that puts your life in perspective. Like, we come here, we live in the US, we all have houses, we have phones, you go to the grocery store and you can get anything that you possibly could think of. And there's people in the world who don't have that, and so their priorities are so different from what ours are. And when I saw that, I'm like, I can really do anything. I don't have to go to school and get a job and do all these things. I can find different alleyways to happiness, and all the things that we think are happiness here in the US are not happiness.
That's the big takeaway for me with travel is perspective.
Yeah.
Right. You look at other things and you sit back. I had to sit back today and just take a breath and look around and go, you know what? I'm blessed, man. And I have no valid reason to sit here and bellyache or complain. You know, we ebb and flow out of this, you know, we'll call it depression and happiness and all that sort of thing. And that's really not controllable by outside things. But when you're just sitting there kind of feeling sorry for yourself, that's a lot of crap, man, for what we do compared to what you've experienced and seen in your life. But let me go back to Mitch real quick here. You had said something earlier about having to maintain this personality and this image that you've created. Do you feel now with your current place in life where you're at and who you are today that you're trying to still shed this athlete guy that you were kind of bred to be your whole life? You know, the beard, the hair. Is this part of a character that you're playing?
Maybe it's super subconscious. I'm not consciously making a decision like, man, people got to start seeing me as someone other than the football player.
Right.
Because, like, I don't get that anymore, you know, unless I see someone who only knew me when I played football in high school, you know, that was like went to a football game in high school or went to high school with me or something like that. Otherwise, you know, the majority of people that I'm probably surrounded with now didn't know me in high school.
So here, I want to go deeper here. I'm looking at these comments. Mama said, this is making me cry. Rich King said, I'm not crying yet. So with what you just said, we're going to make Rich King cry right now because I want you to dig deeper into what you were talking about. He is someone who came to a game, specifically the San Marcos game. You threw the interception. You got tackled. You were getting beat up, but somehow...
That's the game where I did a front flip?
Did a flip. Yep. What's his name? Flipped you.
Isaiah
yep.
Henney. Shout out.
But
What
you threw that pick, and then Rich was sitting in here. He's sitting in the stands watching you become a man in his eyes. And right now he's watching you do that again because of what you're saying. So talk about that person that you were then, you know, however you can. I don't know if that's even a valid question. And compared to where you are now in the growth spurt that has happened from that experience on the football field, you know, because in life we're going to throw picks. We're going to get flipped over
what are the like parallels that I can make?
Yeah. What are some things that, you know, you think are pretty
I don't know.
noteworthy?
I guess the first things that really come into my mind are moving through adversity and playing through like setbacks, like physical setbacks or mental setbacks, things like that. Because I remember you telling me like I threw that interception and then he was stoked that I like threw a touchdown pass afterwards or something because I got my mind back and stuff like that. Another thing that I can remember is I broke my collarbone, and whether it was smart or not, I didn't know it was broken at the time. I knew I was in excruciating pain, but I played with it, and it was on my throwing arm, and I threw a touchdown pass to win the game with it. And just kind of knowing that I can push myself, you know, through any that I feel like I'm speaking to myself right now. It's pretty crazy. Like I feel like maybe I have like a broken collarbone right now or something, and you know, and I'm still playing through it, and it hurts, but I win in the end, you know what I mean? And so that's just something that I feel like I just reminded myself of right now. But parallels with football and life is just, I guess my whole life I was always labeled because of my in football it's all about size, you know, it's all about...
Speaking of size, read what Rich just wrote on the comments there.
Mitch doesn't know this, but I cried when I held him when he was just a month old. No way. That blows my mind. That's wild.
So you could hold him now, Rich.
You can cry again. You can hold me. What was I saying?
About size in football and...
Oh, you know, yeah. I guess what I was saying about playing through adversity, I guess the physical adversity, but more than that, I feel like maybe what's harder than physical adversity is mental adversity, because that might be a little bit harder to even be aware of that's happening, you know. I was always told I'm too short, too slow, not good enough. I'll never play at this level. I'll never play here. I'll never get a scholarship. Like everything that I was ever told that I couldn't do. I was benched in Pop Warner because they said I would never play quarterback in high school. I went on to start all 4 years in high school. I was told I would never play on varsity. I started both years on varsity, had pretty successful high school career as an individual, which I know is not football, but whatever. Told I was never going to get a scholarship, got a full ride to a D2, played in a couple games at a D2, transferred to Palomar, won a bowl game, got more scholarships and decided I was done with it. But I was always told I was told I couldn't do any of those things that I did. And I feel like I'm still maybe not told by other people as much because there's no like spotlight on me anymore, like that people are looking at me like, oh, Mitch can't make t-shirts, I feel like maybe that voice comes from a part of myself where I doubt myself a little bit. And but regardless of that voice, I know that I can I know that I not only can I, but I have always done what was doubted of me, whether it was by someone else or by me. Yeah.
So many people deal with that on day to day, and again, I'm going to use Rich as an example just because I'm looking at these comments here, and he just got this new job and was always the smart guy at his old place, right? And then he came into this new place and wasn't the smart guy necessarily anymore and had to dig deep and find something that was in him that he started convincing himself, well, maybe I'm not capable and maybe I can't do this. But through perseverance and through, sticking with it and not giving up, he's now feeling as if he is capable of operating at, the same level these other guys are who he was looking at before, like, oh, I can't do this, man. We all do it, and I guess today's message is don't freaking believe that BS, man.
Yeah.
And it's the loudest when it's not being said by anyone else.
Yeah. When
it's the loudest when it's you.
Yeah. That's what I was about to say. It's a little tougher when it's yourself. Yeah. And it's not someone else saying you can't do it, because you can fight that back a little bit easier. Like, no, fuck you, I can. But when it's yourself, it's you. And you kind of just, when you hear that voice in your head, you believe it a little bit more easier. You believe it more. What the fuck? You believe it. It's easier to believe when it's yourself saying it. Yeah.
Dude, I do it all the time. It's like you get ready to shoot a video. Who are you? Why does anyone want to hear from you? Yeah. You're nobody. You're this and that and the other thing. Then I don't do it. And that voice won.
Yeah.
And the unfortunate thing is,
that holds me back a lot, for sure.
But there are still people out there who are looking to you for that. And AnnaBfromtheTree, those people are waiting for an Instagram post or however you share that information. And we can't. It's you're stealing a blessing from somebody else when you believe that BS in your head and you don't do it. It's if we're getting spiritual, it's a lie. From the pit of hell, as they would say in church, and then you're robbing somebody else on the other end who is waiting for that because maybe they just like you. Maybe they like hearing the tone of your voice. Might even not be the words that are coming out. Maybe it's because tone is big, right? When you hit a drum, there's a vibration. Some people just like the vibration of my voice.
Someone hit me up. Wow, I should read this actually.
Read it.
Let me find this.
It's getting deep here in the Pants Off podcast. You guys didn't know this was going to go down like this.
Someone hit me up on Instagram
and said your dad's voice is resonating.
No, they said something.
Your dad's voice is great.
So do you guys know what ASMR is?
Yes.
Do you know what it stands for?
Jim, is it acoustic sound? It is something where you can just like make a noise.
Exactly. But yeah, so
you like that noise?
Someone hit me up on my Instagram and said, I caught your videos on YouTube. Hope you keep making them. They give me ASMR. Plus, you have very chill, relaxing vibes, and even without the triggering of my ASMR. Autonomous sensory meridian response.
Is a euphoric experience characterized by a static-like or tingling sensation on the skin that typically begins on the scalp and moves down the back of the neck and upper spine, precipitating relaxation.
So I did that to someone with my voice.
Yeah, baby, you know how we do with that voice like that. ASMR.
Yeah.
The quiet storm.
Shoot.
Yeah.
So maybe you could do
Yeah.
just AMSR, you know?
Yeah.
No. I could, but
Well, I think it just happens naturally anyway, you know, like I was saying.
what I
anyway.
was gonna say though is, I feel like that voice of doubt and stuff that you're talking about when you go to make your videos has really stopped me from making my YouTube videos, and because I was posting them pretty consistently for I guess a couple of weeks or something, but now and it's also harder because at the time that I was posting them, I was feeling like high, you know, and I was coming from a place of like excitedness and being enthusiastic and wanting to share this like positivity with people. And I know what you're about to say, like transparency is positivity for people, but like, I guess what stopped me is thinking that like, if I'm not vibrating as quickly as I was in those other videos, or if I'm coming from a place of like, I just saw my darkness, or I'm in my darkness, or I'm doing shadow work and I'm feeling like this, or I'm feeling like that, and I'm talking about how I feel like shit today, or, you know, like I kind of get scared like of spreading vibes that are like gonna down someone, you know, and like
if
I
it's
don't
truly
wanna...
vibrational, though, you're never going to connect with the people in that space that
That's
are
true.
not able to connect with that high vibrating guy. So if you come correct and real and just say, this is where I'm at today, then you're going to capture a whole nother group of people.
Well, I guess, which is crazy, but it goes back to kind of something we were saying about having a character or being a... For me, it's more of feeling like I have to be the person that people know me as, which kind of makes me feel stuck. But now that I have those super positive orange tree guy videos out or whatever, which I don't think I was acting super like
No, you weren't.
enthusiastic and stuff. I think I was just talking how I am now. But I guess I feel like I have to stay on that, you know, and be that person that was in those videos, and like I can't go on there feeling like something else, you know what I mean? But I'm not going on there to be anybody. I'm going on there to be me. I just want to really make videos, I want it to be my journal, you know, because I don't write in a journal. I used to write in a journal, but kind of lately it's been feeling like...
Well, then you're missing out on a lot of good shit, journaling, by not making those videos.
Yeah. And I think part of the problem is that I'm thinking about making the videos for other people, not for myself.
When you
'Cause I
make them
have, like,
for
this
yourself,
whole
that's when they're the most powerful.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so too.
I have this whole idea of like, I need to create content. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so I can like...
Well, what does Gary Vee say? But go ahead, Annabelle.
Yeah, documentation over content. Document over content.
That's what I think, because I feel like I've gotten that feeling before too of like, oh, I need to be consistent. I need to have things out. Like every day I need to be doing something so that I can maintain the momentum that I have with people and connecting with people. But that's really something that we put on ourselves, because if you think about like an artist that you really love, they put an album out once every couple years, and as soon as that album's out, you're going to be listening to it the whole time. And I think people would rather have something that's genuine, and that usually we're all feeling similar things. Like what you're going through, probably so many other people are experiencing that right now. So for you to go and share exactly where you're at, people are going to resonate with that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like you don't need to go into it thinking like, I need to create content or I need to be a certain way, because people want to see you. They like you. They like what you
I
are.
also get nervous and like feel scared of it not turning out how I hoped it would turn out, because obviously whether we like want to admit it or not, we want to put it out there and have it be well received. You know what I mean?
course,
And like,
yeah.
It's okay to redo a video.
yeah, I know,
You hear
but
me
like,
doing it all the
what
time.
if I put 5 videos out, or like I be myself on this video about where I'm at, and then nobody fucks with it, you know? And then like, cause
Then you still journaled.
yeah.
It's for you. That's the thing. You have to, I feel like, because you used to tell me like, it's weird that you're like putting this persona out, and like, don't you, like, you would always ask me those questions, and it would make me question myself. But you have to put things out because you want to put them out. Because if you're gonna, of course we want it to be received well, but if it's coming from your heart and from your truth, it doesn't matter like if it's received well, because
it's
it's
like,
you.
wow, people don't receive my truth.
Yeah, but it's like, so what? You have to be strong enough in yourself to know that's me, regardless of what anyone else has to say about it.
Yeah.
Which is a hard place to be in, because then that voice of doubt comes up of like, well, you're not good enough, you're not this, you're not this. But then you have to practice to be strong enough inside yourself to catch when it's that voice and recognize like, okay, that's valid and those thoughts are valid because it's trying to protect you, but you have to battle it with the other side of you that's like, nah, I'm still going to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
That goes into everything that you do, like with eating, what you were saying, like with nutrition plans and stuff like that. It's like it's like a constant
And
combat.
then now I'm like, you go watch my other videos. It's like, so how you should eat, and this is how eating is, and wow, how I found fucking heaven through my diet, and blah blah blah. And now I'm like, I hate myself, and I'm eating bread and fucking processed vegan meat and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And it's like, how are they like? I just get caught up in how I'm gonna be perceived, I guess.
It's all levels, right? And you're busting through new glass ceilings that you would never have gotten to before, and the next level is just an opportunity for the next level. You know, Mama says that's where people can see that it's real. Just be you. We got to get her on this podcast someday.
We do.
That'd be
I
Anita,
want to hear her.
You're the next guest on the Pants Off podcast, and your pants are coming down. You're going to be sitting here in your thong.
Jeez.
Well, then we'll get more than 5 people watching. But we've maintained all 5 of these people have not left. Usually, you know, that people dip out quickly because you're not entertaining them enough. So apparently this right here is being received. So really, you are doing right now exactly what you say you don't want to do.
No, this is what I want to do, but I feel like someone else facilitated this for me. And what seems tougher is like when I got to facilitate it. Like I got to go home and set the camera up and sit in front of it. And it's easier when you have someone to bounce shit off of. You know, you're asking me questions, and it's harder when you got to come up with content. You got to come up with like stuff to talk about.
Then it's okay to have somebody. Don't feel the need to
no
be,
doubt. That's why I've been wanting to like have
by
someone
yourself.
that I can sit across from and just have a conversation with.
Dude, can you imagine how many people would want to be able to come and sit under that orange tree? If the orange tree became the thing.
At my mom's house.
So what?
You
know what I mean? Yeah. And, you know, here's what I want to say as a dad, right? And usually I don't come to you from that angle or perspective. But as a dad, I think that there's nothing more beautiful. Anita says, oh, God, no. The thong or being a guest on here, or both. There's nothing more special or precious than saying, hey, I'm bringing my mom and dad on here today. You know why? Because I freaking love these people. They support me. They're awesome. They're cool. I think too often people get caught up in this concept of, I can't, you know, I'm a whatever. You know, we start believing that same conversation that we have in our own head and push away some of the people that really can add even more value to what it is that you're doing. Some people might go, dude, the positive guy under the orange tree, the super positive guy under the orange tree, brought his freaking mom and dad on. That was so dope, dude, because nobody does that. You know, I just think that your generation, you know, you always talk about millennials and how open and how positive and how much you want to live your own life. I don't disagree with any of that. But if that is all true,
always,
then do that. You know what I mean? Or, you know, in the conversation, then do that and be that and just, so what? I'm bringing my mom and dad on. Hell yeah. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I want to be that so bad because that's where freedom's at. But like, sometimes I feel like I really can't say some things that I want to say because some one person out there is going to feel some way about it. And really, there's one person that I'm thinking of in particular, but like, I feel like I can't say it. You know what I mean?
Anita Alvarado Bartram?
No.
Me?
No, I like, that's where I'm at right now. I was like, I can't say it because if she's listening to this, it's going to hurt her feelings.
Oh, okay. I don't know who it is, but I doubt they are because there's only 5 people listening, and it's.
No, I know, but like.
Yeah, but that's something that you have to break through inside yourself, and I think that you are capable of breaking through that. You have to understand and have faith that, for one, the people who really love you are gonna.
That blows my mind that I have this person.
Taylor?
I've told you who it is, dude.
Taylor?
No.
Just say it.
But she listens to these, I'm pretty sure.
But okay. I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh no, man. You know what?
I feel like I'm like really restricted by that.
No, you're not at all. I would say that you're not in the least bit.
Really?
And if you are, it's not your fault.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with you.
I know, but then
Nothing.
I have to face the consequences
No, you
of
don't.
that next time.
You know, you don't. You don't. Because if you're strong in what you feel and believe, because it's your experience, it's your life, it's what you're living, and it doesn't matter. It really honestly doesn't matter. I don't give a flying F about any of that. I don't.
What does F stand for?
Fuck. You know, and the freedom that comes with that is it's so beautiful, man. Yeah. You know, because you're either going to love me for me, and if you don't, that ain't got shit to do with me. It doesn't.
Word.
Yeah.
It doesn't. And, you know, you can just express yourself and be who you want to be, and you don't have to say anything specifically to any individual, but it's just, you know what I mean? If anyone takes offense to anything, it has nothing to do. You know what I mean? There's so much freedom in that, man. You know? I really don't have anything to hide from. I don't feel like I have anything to hide from anyone's, you know.
We were just talking about, like, when we were on our way
on the
here.
drive here, like
I
2
was
blocks away.
Yeah, I literally was saying, like I feel good coming on here because I don't have anything to hide from anyone. I can just be me. I don't feel like I have to be some way in front of you or in front of Mitch or anybody because I'm me.
I'd love for you to turn that microphone down and just fart real loud right now.
If I had one, I would let one loose. But
Would you?
I mean, I don't know if I really.
So I got to tell you a story about
That's
how I
something
first met Annabelle.
God.
So she, you know, Taylor comes home. I met the coolest girl ever, Daddy. You would love her. She told me she shit in this cup and then like put the straw back in it and set it down. I'm like, I gotta meet this girl.
Straw back in
put
it.
the straw back
You
in the
fucked
cup.
someone's world up.
I
dude.
mean,
I
if
said,
they're
I've
gonna
got to
drink a
meet this
random
girl.
cup,
Yeah.
And then what I say to you when you showed up at the house? First thing I said,
you're the girl that pooped in a cup, and then
High
high
five.
fived me.
I said that was
like,
it.
All right, I think I'm
I'm
accepted,
accepted.
here.
Yes.
Yeah, that was.
Little
So
did you know
poop in
you
your cup.
touched a very special spot in my dad's heart when it comes to shit.
You gotta do what you gotta do, man. It was either in my pants or in a cup, so
Or on the floor of your Fiat.
or on the floor of my car. A cup was like, and it filled it to the brim, man.
That's awesome. Like a
What
soft
was it?
serve.
What
Yeah, soft
size?
serve.
It was a Starbucks cup or like
Yeah,
a coffee cup?
Yeah,
Venti?
What size was
I
it?
think like a grande. It wasn't small, but it wasn't the biggest one. It was medium
And then
size.
you said it was soft serve?
Definitely, like swirled right up into the.
Wow.
You know,
So
Was
I'm
the
waiting
top-
for Mama to comment right
Was
now.
the top
Any second.
pinched? Was the top pinched?
what do you mean pinched?
It always
like,
is.
Pinched at the top?
Yeah, for sure. Well,
Wow.
I mean, I don't remember specifically, but if I'm gonna like think about what would happen, yeah, for sure it was.
Yeah, that's just a natural thing.
Yeah.
So, Mitch, what are you going to do about this now? That's what I wanted to ask you. Are you going to go off and shoot some videos, or are you going to
What am
make
I
a
going to
move?
do about what?
Not being stuck, about being stuck and not advancing your,
Well, my
we'll call it
being-
content.
My being stuck doesn't necessarily 100% have to do with just like my online presence, I guess. It has to do with, you know, deciding what I'm going to do with my broken Jeep. If anybody wants to buy a 1999 limited edition Jeep Cherokee that's going to have a brand new engine in it,
Holla at your boy.
let me know. It's forest green. It's pretty cute.
The Green Monster,
Yeah,
as G called it.
let me know.
The green moss.
Yeah, hi G.
Shout out to
Yeah,
G.
shout out G. We
Saul,
love
what's
you.
up? If you ever see this, I don't know.
Saul.
man.
Saul.
These are gonna go on my website when they come out. When my website comes out.
Good. Good. Yeah.
But what I'm gonna do is just get momentum going by making. I feel like I put decisions off and I procrastinate because I have this idea that, it's like I will mess up if I make the decision now, and the more time I have between now and the decision is gonna like create a better outcome because I'll have come up with a better solution in the meantime. So I lengthen out that time for the longest time, and I just end up not doing anything until I feel like I'm gonna explode because I'm sick of being stagnant, and then I just do anything.
Right.
I feel like, yeah. So I got to do that with my Jeep. I hit a bunch of people up, not a bunch, but I hit a few people up today to do a little photo shoot for my clothing company on this Saturday, maybe, hopefully.
Taylor doing it?
No,
Who's shooting?
me.
Cool.
And my homie Angel Lopez.
Cool.
Angel Lopez, hi.
Shout out to the video guy, Angel Lopez.
And the homie Felix Mallorca is gonna come film it. That reminds me, I got to text him. So I'm setting that up, and then once that's done, I get to put that video on my website. I already have all my products posted on my website for the most part. All that I need is the video and some photos, so I can add and fill up the website a little bit. And
so, what is the brand? Go ahead and give a shout out to the brand, and then we'll give Anna B a shout out to her stuff.
My brand is Higher Realm. It's, as of right now, consists of clothing. I got t-shirts, I got shorts, I got hats. The website, which is coming soon, is higherrealm.co, higherrealm.co.
So elevator pitch on Higher Realm. What is it? What do you want it to be? What will
Higher Realm is everything that we just talked about. Higher Realm is facing your shit, facing the darkness, facing the discomfort that's hard to face, and using it as an opportunity to transcend that into, unknown parts of yourself to known parts of yourself, from darkness to light, from misunderstood to understood, from shunned to embraced, and accepting yourself rather than being ashamed of who you are and certain parts of yourself, because I think that in order to accept yourself, you have to accept all of the horrible shit about yourself as well, which is very difficult. And maybe you should work on not being horrible in those areas, but you shouldn't not like yourself for having those areas, because we all do. And I'm not saying that I do that every single day, because I haven't been on that for a minute now. It's just like a reminder to myself, but that is what Higher Realm is about. It's called Higher Realm, and heal thyself is
there you go. Anna B, can people get it, and what's it all about?
I make jewelry with crystals and stones. They all have different healing properties. My website is AnnaBfromtheTree.com. I'm always updating it with different jewelry. I like to do collections that kind of have like a deeper meaning behind them. But all stones and crystals have healing properties. So if you're going through something, whether it be like a physical ailment or a mental, like emotional thing that's going on, there's different crystals and stones that can help with those things. They all vibrate at different energies, and we vibrate at different energies throughout our body. So they're healing tools, but they're also pretty. And yeah.
She wraps them with copper wires.
I do wire wrapping and macrame. I taught myself how to do that. In Asia, I took a little class about macrame. Right. But other than that, it's all mostly self-taught, and I've been doing it for like 3.5 years now, I think.
It's beautiful stuff. So. Anita has a collection of her own. So in closing, I want to ask you guys one question, kind of in the theme of a lot of other talk shows that I've seen. Happiness is, Anna B.
You go. Oprah?
Well, can I how is it one word that I have to give? Or?
Sum it up quick. Happiness is. Jim, let's get some
happiness is when your outside world is congruent with your inside world.
Oh, shit.
When you get everything that you feel that you need on the inside, and you get your outside world congruent with that.
Mitch, happiness is?
Happiness is being free of the limitations that you put on yourself, whether it comes to thinking that someone else is limiting you or you're limiting yourself, and accepting yourself and feeling accepted by others to be exactly what you are, and living your truth and not ignoring your truth and trying to fucking squash it down so you can not face discomfort.
For me, happiness is having both of you on the Pants Off podcast today.
Hey.
This was an absolute joy, an absolute pleasure. I hope you guys got a lot out of this. We love you. And Rich King says deep. And yes, sir, we did dive deep today. I love you guys. Make it a great day.
Love you guys. Peace.
Love you. Peace.
Gia.
You're listening to the Pants Off Podcast with Clark Bartram and Jeremy Jackson.
CBT's Performance Apparel, where fashion meets performance. Upload your custom design or grab the CBT's Deal of the Week at clarkstees.com. The podcast with CB and JJ is sponsored by Providence Video Productions in Escondido, California, providers of full creative, video, and audio production services. Utilizing state-of-the-art professional equipment for all your broadcast needs. Webpage, embedded or live streaming videos and podcasts. Aerial drone videography. Music videos, 3D animation, studio and field production. Contact us at providencevid.com.